Hi, did you know that employers typically name listening as the #1 skill that they're looking for? So today, listen up as I give you 3 tips for improving your listening skills. My first tip is to be mindful. One of the biggest compliments we can give people is to be completely and wholly there in the middle of a conversation by actively listening. That means putting aside any preconceived notions and putting aside things like our tendency to judge people or dominate the conversation or letting our minds wander. But if we can truly be mindful and engaged when we're listening to someone, that's one of the biggest compliments and gifts we can give the people that we interact with on a daily basis. My second tip is to adapt listening appropriately. Obviously, there are certain things we can do in every scenario to improve our listening skills. A lot of times that means eliminating distractions. We've all had scenarios where you're talking to someone and they've still got their headphones on and you wonder, are they listening to me or still listening to music? At the same time, we've all had opportunities to engage with someone and instead chosen to look down at our phone. So eliminating distractions and those kind of things will always help you be a better listener. But at the same time, it's important to remember that every listening scenario you're in is going to be a little bit different. You know, sometimes you're listening at work, sometimes you're listening at school, you might be listening at a conference, or you might be listening to your significant other or best friend. And all those scenarios are different and have a different goal. So you want to adapt your listening appropriately to that scenario. It's important to remember also that every person you're talking with on a personal level is going to be a little bit different and require perhaps some different listening skills. You know, some people, when you're talking to them, they might need a lot of prompting and a lot of encouragement through smiling or head nodding. Other people might need you to simply be silent and attentive. And so, as you go about your day, adapt your listening skills appropriately to best serve your goal, but also to best serve the person that you're talking to at that time. And my third tip is to be an active listener. You know, listening is hard work. It's much easier to engage in what's called pseudo-listening, where you act like you're listening, but you're really not, where you give the impression of paying attention by nodding your head at appropriate times, smiling nicely, and giving mild or moderate or minimal encouragers along the way while you're not even really paying attention. But it's important, obviously, to pay attention when you're talking to someone. But listening is not easy. It requires a lot of effort, right? Because when you're listening to someone, not only are you trying to focus your attention on them, you're having to interpret and organize their feelings and ideas. You are trying to relate to them both on a content level and typically also on a relational level, and you're trying to retain their information so that when it is finally your time to speak and to share your thoughts, that you can share something meaningful. And so being an active listener is challenging, but listening and conversation is always a collaborative and engaging process. So in my opinion, it's always going to be worth the effort to be an active listener. Those are 3 tips for improving your listening skills. Let me know if you have any comments or questions, and I'd be glad to talk to you more. Thanks again for watching this video, and I hope you have a great time improving your listening skills.